Hey everyone, how's it going? We are here, and of course we're on still quarantine, but we wanted to try and do a few videos, do a little something to get you guys motivated to think about the techniques you're working on. I know a lot of you are doing your running and that kind of stuff, which is great, and that's going to be perfect for when we get back in here, because I know not everyone has heavy bags and someone that can hold pads for them at home, that kind of stuff. And again, we will show some techniques on the pads, and if that's something that you can't do, shadow boxing will work. If you don't have a heavy bag, you can still get it done. Again, if you're going to be hitting pads with somebody, make sure it's somebody from your own household, preferably, because we don't really want to be out bringing other people in and doing that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm lucky enough to have somebody that I can bring in from my house, and we can do some demonstrations. Okay, so I just want to show you couple ways that we do things to try and break up that and be able to land that in a competition setting or in sparring, that kind of stuff, right? So we'll show this the 1, 2, 3 low real quick. So just 1, 2, 3 low kick, and we do that on the pads a lot, right? It's a pretty straightforward basic combination. What I want you to see is that if you break up the combination, you can actually land it a little bit easier, right? So this is real simple, right? So we can start out with just a jab, boom, and then it's 2, 3, boom. Okay, so you break up that rhythm, right? Maybe it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, or you can either 1, 2, 3. You can slide back, change the distance, let me come forward, and then land your leg kick. Okay, so it's the same combination really, but there's different ways that you can break up the rhythm and actually land it. So you can do a 1, 2. And then, okay, and you got to make sure that you're stepping out, and we'll go over that when I show you the footwork here in just a second. So you do that 1, 2, 3, 3, and you're going to chop that low kick out, right? And there's obviously a couple ways you can throw the low kick when you're shadow boxing and all that kind of stuff, but we won't get into that too much right this second. Okay, so break up that rhythm, 1, 2, and then change that pacing, that timing. This will help you learn to close that distance a little bit easier. Okay? So again, make sure you're turning your feet, you're stepping out, okay? So you do the same thing. Let's focus on breaking up that rhythm. So 1, 2, 3 low, nice and easy combination, okay? But your opponent moves, obviously, right? Or your opponent attacks in the middle. You got to break up the rhythm sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 2. Okay? Okay, make sure you're moving your feet, you're stepping off the line. Okay, you're creating space, because your opponent, as soon as you attack, they will probably throw something back. Okay? If they don't, then you come forward. So, we're going to start this one out, but we're going to do the switch, right? We're going to switch with the lead hand, right? That becomes a rear, okay? And you're going to step out, and we're going to end up into the pendulum kick, okay? Yep. Okay, so this is you're going to have to focus on the feet a little bit here. I'll show the technique on the pads real quick, and then we'll show the footwork in a second so you can understand where you place your feet, okay? So it's going to be the switch, boom. And I always like to come back with the 2, because even if you can't land it, it shows you how close you are and how close your opponent is if you're ready for the next, if you're ready to land. Something like that. Alright, so we're going to switch. Okay, and then you move, you end up off the line, right? So that switch. Okay? So you're switching, so you're changing your feet out, right? That front hand becomes a rear. Then you replace your feet and back to your original stance for the 2. Okay, we'll show it one more time, and then we'll show the footwork. So we're going to go back to that same technique here, okay? So you do starting with that switch front hand, right? Becomes a 2. All right? So watch the footwork again. So the foot moves back, rear foot moves forward, okay? You replace it. If you have questions about switches, we can definitely do a more in-depth video on switches later. Okay? So you do that front switch, then you're going to replace for the pendulum kick, right? Switch, and the feet switch out for the pendulum, right? So you replace your your back foot with your inside foot. Okay, switch, place, 2. Okay, now we're going to show it on the bag. This way I can give you a couple different angles on how it looks, okay? Watch the feet move. Yeah, you get that switch, pendulum, 2. We're going to be doing the 1, 2, 3 low first, okay? Okay, so now that's the 1, 2, 3 low, just kind of broken up a little bit, breaking up the rhythm so that you can force your opponent not just to come forward, they have to respect you doing different things, okay? So now we're going to show the last one, okay? So this is the switch with the front hand to the rear, okay? You do a switch to the rear, and then it's going to be the pendulum, all right? And the 2, okay? So we'll show it kind of live again so you can see what it looks like all together, okay? Okay, make sure you're moving in and out. I just like to highlight real quick, we have Cat Strength and Conditioning that trains here out of Alliance ACO. So and they're putting up some great videos during this shutdown as well. So if you want some great workouts, I recommend checking them out so you can get that kind of a feel in. Okay, so that's all part of the balance of competition and everything else is working your strength and conditioning as well. So again, I just want to tell you that we'll try to do a few more of these. Stay training as much as you can. If you can't hit pads, you can't hit bags, that's okay. You can definitely do this shadow boxing, okay? Get creative, you know. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. A lot of the public parks are open. I would recommend that you just, you know, go to some of the ones that are a little bigger that you can spread out. Don't hang out with a bunch of people. And again, if you want to hit pads, try and hit pads with somebody from your immediate family and your household. That way we can keep this thing contained and back on the mats as soon as possible. All right, thanks guys.